Hello again. We are back, and I just wanted to kind of break down a project I just finished. It's Calypso, and it is a game jam for the raylib 6 game jam. It was made in 6 days, and I did the sound effects. So I was just going to go ahead and jump into the project here. Let me open this up and probably close that all down. Let me put my mixer up. So this is the voice acting, and we were very lucky to work with the same person from EFF Milbay. She kills it. She has great takes. It really didn't take a lot to get it over. So I'll go ahead and just play the without anything on it.
Hi, I'm Calypso, your new internet curation software.
Phenomenal, right out of the gate. I went through, we trimmed everything, that we assigned markers depending on the line, just basically to make it easier to import into the game. And this is the entire thing right here. Just knocked it out in an afternoon for us. And there was like a little bit of editing that I did, nothing crazy. It's mostly just like I gated a little bit, and then certain things I just brought down. I could have used a compressor to probably make my life easier, but life's not meant to be easy. So I went through and I manually just adjusted some of the things that were a little hot, brought them down. I do wish I would have done some sort of more general compression now that I look back, but you know, there's always next time.
Hi, I'm Calypso,
So here's
your
the gate.
new internet curation software.
Pretty much can't tell.
Let's make the web ready for...
Now, what was fun about doing this voice was I knew I was going to need to have some sort of like robotic voice, and we kind of went back with like a couple different ideas, and I posted like, okay, like here's like a sequence of a bunch of different ideas, and part of it was like around like layering choruses, layering like a delay. I used the delay for like a computer voice in the past, but it was like super heavy, super tiny. So this one was a little different, and I'll show you what it sounds like with the one that we landed on.
Hi, I'm Calypso, your new internet curation software. Let's make the web ready for Y2K.
And all that's going to be is a little blue chorus. I was listening to like a video of how the Beatles made one of their albums, and they're just talking about this fake vocal doubling, and it reminded me of a chorus, and I wanted to try to kind of make something a little more crazy, but the chorus really just served the purpose a lot better than what I was working with. We just use a little delay.
Hi,
I'll show you
I'm
layers.
Calypso, your new internet curation software.
That's just the chorus.
Let's make the web ready for Y2K.
Here's that
I
delay.
need coherence energy to operate.
Again, super tight
Click
delays.
groups of 4 or more orbs until my charge meter is filled. Build
I like
a
this
combo
little
by
reverb.
only matching groups bigger
It's
than your
kind of
current
simple. It's a little
multiplier.
like rudimentary, but I
Quick
like that
combos can make
because
a chroma
it just
crystal.
makes it easy
Tap
to
it
kind
to
of dial
reveal
in
all
different
orbs of a
ideas. And
color.
then also you have these little switch
You made a
knobs,
hex
so
bomb.
it's easy to compare.
Tap it
It's
again
just a
to
fun
clear the
little
whole
plugin.
screen. Triple combo.
I'll throw it
Keep
on there
it
every
going
now and
by
then. I kind
matching
of treat
larger
it
and
like
larger groups.
like,
I'm
I
fully
don't know,
charged.
like kind of like more of a broader,
Opening a firewall
broader tool.
tunnel.
And you see
Scanning.
the super light mix, super
Ew,
small room.
a
We were just trying to give it a
horse
little
girl
bit of girth.
That's so 90s.
Sorry, that was one of the alternate takes that I set down to the side. The reason we have these other tracks on here is we did have one section that we wanted to make a little special, and that is the very end.
You can't. Wait, you can't. Nice.
So there's some other stuff going on there. Clearly that wasn't everything. I was trying to keep off the automation, so this is like dry.
Wait, you can't.
And so Ciara actually sent it with the stuttering already started, and then we just kind of made it a little more extreme, just to really give it like the crashing side.
Wait, you can't.
Which I've used in like metal tracks for like you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of fun to see like that delay effect used for crashing this time. And then we did do some automation on the main track, so I'm just gonna stick to this one, and then I'll bring in the bottom one. So we did use a pitch. Let's get this chorus out of here. No, super simple, just Reaper's built-in pitch.
Nice.
Super easy, super simple. I did have Melodyne, but because it's looking for like a little more, it's looking for a different thing, and so I noticed that sometimes the pitch adjustment was dropping off. That would have given me a little more control, but I can live without that. So we just went simple. And then one of my favorite toys, I need to update it.
Nice. Wow. Good one.
All right. And I did have Lossy, but I had purchased it like the same day that I was doing this. I thought this would be a cool effect for it, but I couldn't really find a place to put it. Um, I'll kind of show you what that would sound like if we had Lossy on this as well. And now for with Lossy, my bad. And that would be
Hi, I'm Calypso, your
useful
new
for
internet
everything.
curation software.
Without it,
Let's make the web ready for Y2K.
with it.
I need coherence energy to operate. Click.
It just kind of takes a little bit of the presence away. So I thought overall was probably wasn't super needed. But it would be a good place for it. And let's go into the secondary track on this glitch out. Try to believe you right there.
You can't. Wait. Nine.
I just really wanted to feel like the audio was like glitching heavy. I took the track from up here, exactly as the lines were presented. I put it down here. We did do a little automation for just like the volume, and then we put on a chorus, the replica, and then before the last layer of reverb, I put on this bite. I've used this with a fair amount of success. I think it's really helpful for creating like that digital kind of distortion. It's a way more aggressive than what I think like Lossy is. Lossy is a little more like trippy. This is a little more like angry.
You can't. Wait. Nine.
So, a decently high saturation. We're just dropping the filter. High jitter, pretty decently high crunch, super low bits, and that's what's really getting this effect.
You can't. Wait.
And of course, we have the same reverb as before. For continuity, we're just throwing in this digital distortion before it hits. And that is pretty much how all the voice lines were made. It's really nice that I wasn't too much messing around with the takes. I tried to really preserve like the pacing.
Hi, I'm Calypso, your new internet curation software.
So super simple. Ciara is a pro. It was very nice to work with her again. I was very happy that she could help us with this project. So we'll go ahead and jump into the sound effects. This is kind of the beast. Because we sourced all of the music tracks from like era specific. It's just like free stuff that we were able to just attribute the artist so everyone gets their credit. And it was serving the purpose better than anything I could make. Trying to make something that sounds like, something of that era. So basically the way I did this time was I took one SFX project for everything, and I just kept trying to build vertically, and I would just kind of find a new spot and start building, and it is quite the monster. So I turned off a lot of the effects. I basically put a lot of things offline to save CPU, so you're gonna have to bear with me just a little bit, but we'll get through all of this. One of the main things that we did pull from on this project was Helton Yon's Tranquility Part 1, Part 2. These were sounds that BadRam had originally intended to be part of the project. He felt like that it was like the right soundscape. And so when I jumped in, I was able to use these sounds to really build up a lot of the sound effects in the game. I don't know if there's any one point where I just played one of the sound effects. I think almost every time it gets layered, but we can explore that. So let's go ahead and jump in right here. So this, basically I think these are from the first piano sprites or plucky. I don't know. It was like one of the ones right at the top, and it just fit really well. I really liked it. I cut up the track into the samples individually, and then I listened through, and I decided I like this one. I like this one. I kind of got like a short list, and then I started trying to blend them over each other to see what would line up well to create an interesting sound. And these are the three sounds that I came up with. All right, and so those are really the sources for pretty much the entire project. Let's see. So then we took these and I layered them out. And at this point, we are doing some individual processing. So we have this would be like our combined bus, and this is the pitch control. So we just did like a step pitch control. I probably could have just put it on a, or this is for the octave, the steps are in there. But I probably could have just put it on the keyboard and ran it like a one shot. This was quick. This was like a good option at the time. So if we're going to go down, sounds familiar. So we're working with the pitch. So as you can see, it's just moving up the major scale. Now what's tricky about this is, since they are layered sounds, there's a lot of like ambience in between. They're not truly perfect on the note. They're just moving up in the same amount that the scale would move up. And so then we just did some EQ, cut out the low end on that, and then I have Soothe running because they are pretty jarring. And this is the kind of stuff that really eats up the CPU, so that's why we like to freeze as we go. So that's this one. This one was like a softer one. It was meant to be like a little more of a tail on it. The way we did that, again, we just used some pitch for stepwise. I put a 1176 on. We did kind of like a slower release, but a very fast attack. So we're cutting out the whole front end. We want the punch from the other one to hit through, and we're slapping it on there. So like 10 decibels gain reduction. And then we're using RC24. I use the 48 quite a bit, but the 24 is a little more gritty, which I thought was more appropriate for the situation. And let's see. And this really was just meant to be a different layer of pitch. We wanted to kind of stand out, so it really squeals a little bit. And then I put this. There's like part of like a thing that the Sonics did. They have like a widen and like a thicken. I love this thing just for getting a little more stereo with. And so you see, I'm just slapping it pretty hard. A little bit of timing. I try to keep that really light. But yeah. When they all come together, it sounds like this. Oh, also, we felt like the original batch was a little too high up in the register, so I dropped it an extra octave below so that we could just take anything from anywhere in between. And if you grabbed it from the middle of a scale, it'd just be a mode. So I wasn't mad about that either. And also, if you notice, I didn't really do anything on the mastering on this one. I tried to leave that mostly alone. And I did boost the master fader, which is something I almost never do. But that was just because as I was working, I was like, I kind of like the way that these are already sounding, and I just wanted to raise up the total volume. I mean, I've done that on this project quite a bit, and then I could kind of work with, like, I'm afraid of the sounds coming in too slow, too soft, and everything having to be raised up. So I was just trying to give it a little extra juice and just kind of be conscious of that as I work along. Okay, so that was these guys. So now we've been through the matches. So now we had the burst, and this originally was supposed to be like a bomb, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and listen. No, it must be this next one coming up. Yeah, so basically let's break this down. So you see major piano sprites from the Tranquility Pack. And this one just had some EQ on it. Let's see, maybe I could solo it out better. Then the mid one. Oh, I got enable the FX. And this one also had the widen. It's very similar to this setup. It's just set on the other one with less reverb and stuff like that. And this one, 1176, same deal. Big old tail on it. And then when they get combined, make sure visibly this is going to play it. Yeah, so basically those are just the, I don't think they're supposed to be the burst. I think they're supposed to be called something else. But I believe that's when you're just getting like the bigger amounts. And we have the bomb. That's kind of a funky one. We were going for like a grenade launcher kind of impact. And then we came back to some popping sounds. So a lot of these came out of my battery packs as well. I have battery that I like to use for a lot of like sampling kind of stuff. And they have a bunch of impacts and a bunch of different random like production sounds that I've just saved, and I pull from them quite a bit because it's really easy just to open a battery, sample through it, drop it in, and if I want to put it in together, I can always do that and actually use it as the tools intended. But it just has a lot of good banks, so pretty dang sure that's where that one came from. Just a little popping sound effect. Again, this is just from my libraries. A low and high, so together. Oops. That's a little popping sound. This is the kind of the resonant barrel sound of the thing going off. And then I just wanted a little something just really thick in there. And that's that. So that's kind of what we were running with for the bomb sound when I was working through it. Let's go ahead. Is there anything I'm missing on here? We have a little bit of pitch, and the pop is used for the battery, so I'm not worried about that. A little bit of EQ. It's nothing fancy. It's just cleaning it up. Let's see. So then we were thinking about the ball collision sounds, because there are all these little glass balls that are falling together. How do we want to make that work? So the simple idea was cups. So that is Foley for part of it, and I'll show you that part. And just various sounds. This one's a little looser. This one's even looser. And originally, I decided to do something ridiculous, and I was trying to include these sounds right here. Let's see, is there anything I'm missing on this? Yeah, kind of weird. I was trying to give it a little bit more of a tonal feeling, and I believe I even side-chained it, trying to, see auxiliaries on the 3 and 4. So I even tried to side-chain this sound because it was so annoying. And then, I don't know what I was thinking. When I came back, I said, why don't I just take this off and we could mix it appropriately as just a regular glass sound. I think I was just trying to do the most. And let's see. And I threw on a little distressor. 3 to 1, not too crazy. Detecting just the high end, obviously. And it's just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And it is a bus of different sounds, so I feel like that would work well for that. And we just took a couple out of each one. I think we took like 2 or 3 from each. But that is basically how that came together. That is actually exactly how that came together. Let's see. Next we got, the thrum. Let's see if I can find where I put that. Where is our thrum? Here we go. And I see I kind of labeled them on top. This one was a fun one. So there's an actual TV show with an existing sound, and it was calling the pilot to plug their key into their ship, their fighting robot, and basically that is the inspiration for it. And so I just sat there with it, and I just listened to it a bunch of times, and I really kind of heard it broken into two elements. I heard it as like a sonar kind of radar beep, like boo boo, and I heard this like this fat synth. So I was just trying to go at it and come up with something that was similar. Let's see. Let's go ahead and that's what we came up with on the low end. And that was just massive. You'll see a lot of massive in my sound design. I really like the white noise generator. I mean, you can do anything for white noise. This is just my favorite way to do it. There's a lot of automation controls too, so that's probably part of it. So simple as that. We just have a little envelope pulling back a white noise for, and then we have just basically a super deep saw square kind of looking wave. Just a little trial and error to figure out like, hey, this felt better, this felt worse. And that's that. And then some Saturn, which is also one of my favorite kind of like light distortion plugins. So on the bottom, warm tape. On the top, warm transformer. It's all very warm and fuzzy. And then on the top end, and at my job, we have a machine that when you leave it plugged in, it makes a perfect sonar sound. And I really wanted to capture that, but it just didn't happen for this. We ended up just creating it from scratch. And the way that we were able to do that, let's go. So another Massive X. So you can see this one's white noise is fixed. A lot of the shape was important. The frequency there, resonance. Originally I actually had this as a semitone above, and then I think I ended up bringing it back down. There, let's see. So a C and a C. So I did bring it back down. But yeah, so that one was just a little Massive X with some EQ. That's original. With EQ. So you see it's just notched. And some big ass reverb. Full mix. And when they come together, you get this. And that is essentially the first sound you hear in the game. So I really wanted it to be accurate to the inspiration and just something that sounded cool. Let's see. I don't believe the siren was used. I was still a little 50-50 on this anyways. So I went for like a high-pitched siren, and I kind of wish I did a low one. But I just felt like this sounded like urgent. Oh, let me go ahead and turn it on for you. And again, we're just looking at an instance of Massive. So, Moto Saw. This is running right there. Pretty simple. So the performer is just basically going at a rate, raising it an octave, and then I did one for cuts, one for full. That was my little siren sound that I came up with. Charge up. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it a little interesting for everybody, but it is sometimes a slog. So we did charge up. LR charge up together, so let's just run it together first. Where am I missing it? I guess whoosh is next, actually. Let me go back to whoosh. I don't think we touched this one. So I believe this was just supposed to be the movement. So I think at one point we were planning on Calypso to do more movement. So that's kind of the idea there. If I remember correctly, we did some panning. So you see like the panning went from uh, all the way at the left to all the way at the right, all the way at the right, all the way to the left. And then we kind of did an up and a down. So it's supposed to be directionally. And the other one. So that was the idea there. I don't think it ended up even getting used. It's just a little white noise created from Massive. I took some of like the pitch and the level within Massive, and I automated them on my DAW. Just went for that. We did a little bit of a sound effect. Let's see, figure out which one it is. Major trickling swell. And just little white noises. And once they got put together, it was a movement bus. That's where the panning happened. Kind of a fun one. Like I said, I don't know if we ended up even using it. It was just kind of nice to have. What do we got next? Let's try to find this charge up sound. So, charge up, we were trying to display somehow what level of power Calypso is at. And so I kind of had like a base idea for a loop. Started off like super low, like 2 octaves below, and just have it slide all the way up. We were talking about doing the pitch automation in the actual game. That way we just needed a loop and we could pitch it accordingly. I tried to pitch it from the bottom so you just have to shoot it up, but that way it would preserve the I don't even know what to say. Like it would preserve the like fidelity, but I don't think that ended up getting implemented within the time constraint. And also, the droning sound over the whole time might cause just like a distraction. But you have the music, you have the other sound effects going on, you have dialogue at some points. Like it just didn't need to be completely clogged up. So, and that's just left and right running different like staggered start times. That way it's able to get across reasonably. And it doesn't sound like it's too bad of a loop. So that's that guy. Let's see here. We also had like a jingle and a fanfare. I believe this was for successful combos. So let's see here. And super simple. I even left the thing on there. It's again just right from the pack. It's just major 80s lead. It was a little different than the other sounds in the pack, so I thought that'd be an interesting way to use it. And then I just did another just random sound effect that I felt matched well. It kind of reminded me of like a marching band cymbal. I believe. Let's just open this up. Yeah, it's kind of supposed to be like an impact, but I like that cymbal in it. And then we got another sound effect on the bottom here. Just a little swell, so it goes with the lead. And this is just chopped up. Same thing. So, ba-da, I just made a little melody out of it, some little triumphant. It had the cymbal going over the top, and then the big one has a swell. Good job, good job. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Oh, I guess I could have said on the charge up I did use decapitators. Again, like I said, it's a tool that I find myself using more and more. Did some shelving, EQ, and then a center canceller because I knew that it was going to be a lot, so I wanted to cancel out the center, so it just kind of played in the sides, and it would let like the bass of the music cut through the middle. Sorry for the addendum. But yeah, so that is how we did this guy. Let's see. I don't even know what we're getting into with these. Let's see where this belongs. Oh, it's looking like it's part of the portal. Maybe. Interesting. So it looks like I made that just to create this little sound effect. I bet this is that Kinetic Toys plugin. Yep. Yeah, so this was a track. I should have labeled this better. This was just a track trying to get some of the little mechanical sounds, which culminated in this. Which, if I remember correctly, was something built to kind of be like a cash register, like a scorekeeper for when you got the scores added up. Obviously, that one never came to fruition, but now you gotta see a new toy. The Kinetic Toy is pretty neat. Okay, here's the portal. So this is when Calypso is tunneling, portal opens, terrifying laser, portal closes. So this was kind of a fun project just because I was really excited to do the laser sound. So that's portal opening. Let's see here, where do we even start? That's the first layer of the portal. This is through massive. White noise. Literally the whole thing is white noise there. The pitch is being adjusted, and the frequency is for the EQ, which is right here. You can see how that works. It's just simple automation, nothing fancy. I did feel like it was appropriate to do a phaser. Here's what that one. Here's what. Kind of just a neat thing to add. And then we have a reverb. So without. So just kind of a neat effect. I thought it'd be helpful on there. Let's get to the laser. That was fun to make. I really enjoyed making that. So let's see here. Is there going to be a portal closing at the end, or is it going to be down here? So you see, just like it opened, it finishes right there. Now the reason I like to use the synths for a lot of this kind of stuff is because it's easier than doing like what's going on down here, where it's like you're kind of making up a loop, trying to make it sound natural. You can still hear the cadence, but that's also because I don't believe it's even that long of an original sample. Oh, I glued it. Sorry guys. We'll be able to show you. Did you find the title? ModCon 1. Oh, I bet that came out of my sample pack. I don't think that's from the other thing. And once we started getting the design of the portal, I knew there's going to be flames. So I just went in, used fire, noise table, and that was just kind of part of the lasting. Nothing crazy. Let's see. These are some of the last ones I put together. Let's jump back to the laser, because I think the laser is going to be one of the most interesting sounds. So I'll go ahead and walk us through it. Start off massive. So you can see we're adjusting these. There is some EQ being adjusted. I really liked how it popped in 2.5K, so we just ran it from nothing to that to back. And these are all basically here, the position of oscillator 1, position of oscillator 2, so you can kind of see how that looks like. Overall volume is just what phases in, phases out. It's really nothing too nuts. And then, of course, it's captator. So let's go ahead and do the plugins. So this is... So it's just giving some of the high end on here. The mix is fading on and off. So you can see it's actually a really low high cut, a really high low cut. Not crazy amount of drive, but enough to send it into the red, and then just the tone all the way maxed up. I think that's how you get some of that wow instead of just wow, wow. That's kind of the idea there. Ran a limiter on it, gives power. And this chopped the heck out of it, and it really, really squashed it. And that was my intention. I really wanted, if you kind of like getting close, like I wanted it to be more steady like this, rather than have like this kind of phasey thing. And then I brick walled it pretty hard too to keep it kind of at the original volume. Then of course we got to do a little bit of reverb. You can kind of hear how that gives it different tone. Something like that. And then we did compression. We nuked it. We dropped the level down. It was just kind of to be just I don't know, like a parallel compression, which is kind of funny to do after you limit the heck out of it. But that's what we're doing. I wanted it to be kind of evil sounding. So that's what we got with that. And I believe with that, we've taken just about through everything. There was one other piece that I did do. Let's see if I can go ahead and pull this up. The startup chime. And I am partial to the first one, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Go ahead, save. Now let's leave it the way it was when we found it. Alright, so check this out. So this was supposed to be the system startup sound. This one I had a blast making. And so what that comes from is a couple different samples. So we'll take like this, see. So this is what the samples usually sound like. Yeah, they were pretty freaking cool. So what I did is I took them, chopped them, I flipped one of them so it would kind of blend out. So, and then it would be coming in, and it would land on the last. Thought that was super cool. Then we did some white noise. This is supposed to be like nostalgic to like the old PlayStation 2 days. And then a little bit of bass for the ending. All that's really going on here is a little bit of EQ, a little bit of reverb. I can break it down, but it's not a whole lot. So this was just taken from Massive. So here, I'll even try to play it for you. And then ran it through Decapitator. And to be fair, we were taking Massive X, and I think I was using it for a ton of different white noise and stuff like that. We were just taking it in different directions. Here's another group of samples. Metal Scraper. Synthetic Pulses. Now this one was a little trickier. So this one had some cool effects. Well, I'll play it without the stuff I put on. Let's do it like that. And then I ran it through Guitar Rig with a tremolo. And I thought that sounded super cool. I added some delay on top. It's long. And we just did a little EQ. Just something to kind of open it up in an interesting way. And when you put it all together, and you. And so that was the original system startup chime. Now, what ended up happening is it was a little bit too long. So originally, BadRam had sent me a tested like an in-game thing, and I was like, okay, I hear how long it's supposed to be. I kind of get the idea, but I couldn't figure out how he cut it. I was like, man, how did he edit this so smooth? And what it was, he just 300 speeded it. So that was the quick and dirty. It worked. It fooled me. But I went ahead and made a version that is like in the box cut up. And what I did is I just kind of took out the middle section. So you saw everything that was going on before. So now we just took out the whole middle and we kind of just brought it so it just says rise and then a drop. Instead of like a rise, drop, a lift, and then a boom. And now it's just doing poof. So nothing crazy there. Just a little edit of it. But that's how we put it all together to make this game happen for the sound effects. A huge thanks. I'm really happy to be part of this project. I'm really glad I got to work with Ciara again. So I'm couldn't be more happy, and I'm excited to start playing the other games in the jam and seeing what's out there. So, peace.